What's up YouTube? Jeff back again from dopetechdaily.com. Today I'm bringing you guys my official full review on the LG Watch Sport. Now I did hold off on this review for a bit just because I wanted to give this watch every chance to impress me. Unfortunately, this is not the best wearable on the market right now for you to buy. I want to give you guys some reasons why I think LG could have improved a number of things on this watch. I'm going to kick off the review with the things I like, since that might be quite a bit shorter list. Then we'll get into some of the things that LG could have improved on this watch. The first thing I really like is the screen. You got a nice big screen that gets incredibly bright. If you go into the settings here, I'll show you guys exactly how bright it can get. Go into adjust brightness, turn it up to 9. You can see how bright that is. Even in the Arizona sun, I've had absolutely no issues. The automatic brightness is pretty good as well. Very appropriate. I can read all my notifications. I can see the time anytime that I like. This is very, very nice to have, of course, and it's a key feature for any watch, and especially a smartwatch. The next thing I really like about the Watch Sport is I actually do like the style of the watch compared to the other Android Wear 2.0 offerings on the market. That, of course, being the watch style, which is a little bit too small for me, and then the Huawei Watch 2, which was released at Mobile World Congress, be coming out to retail in the next month. I think the Huawei Watch 2 looks significantly worse than the LG Watch Sport. Now, obviously, I'm not a huge fan of the thickness of the Watch Sport, but the front-facing profile, I like the blue accent here on the particular model that I have. And I think the Huawei Watch 2 with its numbers all over the bezel, which really makes it difficult to swipe. There's a lot of issues with the Huawei Watch 2, so I think this is actually my favorite looking of the Android Wear 2.0 watches for now. The next thing I like about the LG Watch Sport is the rotating crown. I think this is very necessary in Android Wear 2.0. Makes it easy to navigate through your notifications without swiping. Also, if you press the button here, it takes you into App Drawer, which you can navigate around the app drawer with ease, see all of your apps. Now that is another downside to the Huawei Watch 2. It does not have that rotating crown, so that's definitely a plus for LG. Another thing which I really like about the LG Watch Sport is the Android Wear 2.0 software. Lots of new features, including the fact that the watch's apps actually live on the watch. They're separate from the phone apps. They're no longer companion apps. You've got your own Play Store here, and if you want, you can go in and install whatever apps you want to do. Now, of course, that is a downside for some people because you're not automatically going to get those companion apps like Hangouts. If you want those on your watch, you will in fact have to install them from the Play Store. But for me, this is perfect since I don't want to use every single app that's on my phone also on my watch. The next thing about Android Wear 2.0, which is very, very nice, is the way the notifications are handled themselves. I think it's a lot cleaner. It's a lot easier to read and navigate, especially using the rotating crown, than the original version of Android Wear. They've gotten rid of some of the clutter, and overall it makes it a more pleasurable experience. Also, the new watch faces, if you swipe over, you can see some of the stock watch faces LG installed, and you can also edit the complications on the watch face by hitting the settings tab there. You can change the data that's displayed. You can change the style of the watch by swiping up and down. You can also change the color of the watch and whether or not you have an unread notification indicator, which you can see right here at the bottom. I don't have any unread notifications because we already scrolled through them. There'll be a little red dot there, a blue dot, whatever color you've chosen for your main face of the watch. So Android Wear 2.0, very, very nice in my opinion. I like the fact that we've got those apps there. I even like the fact that you have a keyboard on the watch. I think it's a very, very nice feature. And I found the input actually when I use it with Hangouts to be pretty accurate when I use swipe on the keyboard. Of course, it's not something you're going to use to type out a long email, but it is a very, very useful feature to have. So those are most of the things that I really like about the Watch Sport. Let's get into the things that LG could have improved. First of all, the watch size is way too big for most people. You can see how thick it is. Now, I definitely don't want a watch as small as the style, but the thickness of this watch and how heavy it is really makes it difficult to wear on your wrist every day. And by the end of the day, you're going to want to get this off your wrist. Another thing, because we have NFC, of course, built in, and we also have LTE, we don't have replaceable straps. So these straps, these bands, they're not replaceable, which you can do with most Android Wear devices. And of course, if you're into the style aspect, it's very nice to have the replaceable strap, and you don't have that on the Watch Sport. The next thing I don't like about the LG Watch Sport is the battery life. And this is probably the most important of all of the features of the watch. The battery life on this is awful if you're using LTE. Now, as you guys can see right now, I've actually turned cellular, which is the LTE function, off because I cannot use the watch for more than 8 to 10 hours with LTE on. So if you're going to use this as an LTE watch, my recommendation is do not buy it for that purpose. This is not possible to use all day as an LTE watch. You're going to need to turn it off at some point, use it as a Wi-Fi device, use it connected to Bluetooth with your phone. Now, if you do use it with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth only, you can get about 16 to 18 hours, which for most people will be a full workday before you have to put it on the charger. That, of course, is going to vary. On the days when I went to the gym to do some fitness tracking, you're going to get a little worse battery life on the watch. And it also depends on, of course, the number of notifications you get and also which apps you're running on the watch itself. Now, I get quite a few notifications for work as well as my own personal use, so I feel like I do put a pretty heavy usage on the watch, but the battery life for me is unacceptable from a current generation smartwatch. I can easily get 2 days on my Apple Watch 2nd generation, and I can also get about a day and a half to 2 days out of the Gear S3 Frontier. Of course, with LTE being used sporadically, but still the LTE battery life on the Gear S3 Frontier is much better than this watch overall. Another issue that I had with the LG Watch Sport is actually taking calls with the watch. Now, if you have LTE enabled and you're taking the call through the watch itself using the watch phone number, it's not a problem. However, I tried making some calls through my watch, using the watch to pass calls to the phone, and this does not seem to work very well. So if you don't have cellular enabled, you're just using Bluetooth, technically you should be able to still take a call using your phone's number by using the watch itself. There's no reason not to be able to do that. However, I found it extremely buggy. Only occasionally could I get it to work, while this feature actually works perfectly for me on the LG Watch Style. So I find that very strange. Hopefully that can be improved with the software update, but that seems like a key feature, a core feature that you would want to use. One other thing I guess I should mention that I do like that I didn't mention earlier is I do like the fact that we have NFC in here. I've been using Android Pay. It actually works very, very easily. Just tap the top part here where the band is on the very top of this band to your terminal, and you can pay very quickly with Android Pay. The big downside to that is if you do use Android Pay, then you have to have a screen lock on the actual watch, which is why I turned that off for the video because it gets very annoying. Whenever it's off your wrist, you have to have a pen or a swipe pattern in order to have Android Pay enabled for those security features. Overall, the LG Watch Sport is very, very smooth operating thanks to the Android Wear 2.0 operating system, but some of these buggy issues with the calls not passing properly when you're trying to call from your phone, the battery life being so bad, it's way too bulky for most people. This keeps it from being the perfect everyday watch, and of course, the battery life is again the biggest issue. If your watch is not going to last more than 16 hours, and if you can't last more than 8 hours with LTE, then why would you even buy a watch that has LTE enabled functionality? If you're going to use all the bells and whistles on the watch, then you're not actually going to get a day's battery life out of this watch, and that's actually a real shame. All right, guys, that's my full review of the LG Watch Sport. If you have any questions about the LG Watch Sport or you want to comment on my thoughts on the watch, please do so below. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. You can find me at dopetechdaily.com, Google+, Instagram, and Twitter at the links in the description. I appreciate you guys checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.